just about the push by Sultan and some problems of Sharia law, Sharia arbitration panel to force Sharia law and Sharia arbitration panel on the southwestern half, the Yorubas. Are you comfortable with it?
I don't know why some people they love breeding their castles in the air. Certain things will not work in some certain parts of the country. How dare you talking about Sharia law in this same southwest? I know pretty well. It will not work. It will flop. It will collapse. Like I said, it will collapse like a park of badly arranged cast. It will not see the light of the day. They are just toying with fire. So it is dead on arrival.
But we have seen the chief imam of Lekki Central Mosque coming out clearly to say that the southwest is due for Sharia law. Hold on. We have seen a judge from Kwara talking about a judge from Court of Appeal coming down from to Lagos here to say that not even Mr. President had the power and right to deprive Muslims in southwest from establishing Sharia arbitration panels.
They are merely toying with it. That's why I said it is dead on arrival. One thing is for them to make ordinary FABA declaration. It's another thing for them to get it properly implemented, get it properly instituted into our body policy. So they are seeing it as merely expressing views, baseless views, aimless views, so tenuous opinions. So they will not see the light of the day. So I am a Christian. I've just introduced myself as a DK. So and this past 2-3 days, I've had occasions to break fast with my Muslim brothers, my neighborhood. That's the kind of peaceful coexistence, the kind of harmony we are enjoying here in the southwest. And nobody can come from anywhere to come and truncate all that. So I don't see why some people they want to create a storm in a teacup, a mountain out of the
but let me even bring it to your knowledge. Don't you think
quickly because
Islam is gaining ground everywhere in the country? Because even in the southeastern part of the country where Islam is alien, currently we are seeing one man, Usman Tochukwu Iliasu, as chief imam of Abuja Central.
Imam Tochukwu.
So if they could gain ground in the southeast, don't you think it's a walkover in the southwest?
That's a one-sided statement. I tell you too, just like you believe, whether rightly or wrongly, that Islam is gaining ground in the southeast. Some people in the north, they are equally of the opinion that Christianity is on the rise. Christianity is gaining ground daily. That churches they are getting proliferated, churches are springing forth every now and then. I think it depends on the angle from which you want to look at it. Christianity is also gaining ground, is also making inroads, making caution into Adamawa, into some parts of Bauchi, in some parts of Kanu, in some parts of, you go to Sabongeri Kanu, go to Brigade in Kanu, you go to Baga, you go to Bama in Borno, you see the advances that our Christian brothers have made over the past few years. You go to different parts of the interior part of Nasarawa, you see the advances Christianity is making there. So I don't want when it borders on religion, ethnicity, tribalism, race, color, I don't want us to pump up all those topics. They are based very petty topic to some of us. They mean no meaning to us. So we should rather begin to talk about things that will unite us, things that will better our Lord, things that will translate into concrete realities in our life. So we should de-emphasize all those things that will polarize us the more. So the issue of religion, especially in the southwest, is a non-issue. The average southwesterner seems to have overgrown order. It's nature, it's ethos, it's value system, it's religion, it's background, it's orientation, it's upbringing. Does not even allow for religious acrimony.
But some people tell that interest is oriented by nature.
Yes.
And no, every human being has some level of sentiment.
No,
whether towards religion, whether towards culture, whether towards ethnicity.
As long as you have blood in your system, as long as you have passion,
so how
you have emotion.
As an individual, you outgrow your own.
With the benefit of experience, benefit of education, experience, exposure. I've stayed here since 1999. I went to school in the midst of my faculty in the University of Lagos was in mini Nigeria, comprising virtually all the 36 states of the Federation. We even have some non-Nigerians. And ditto for our neighborhood here in Ikeja, Lagos. We have Nigerians from all walks of life, from different parts of the country. And that's been able to sharpen your intellect. It's been able to broaden your horizon. It's been able to widen your scope in such a way that you don't see this man as a man from Calabar any longer. I don't see my brother As Toshuku from Abia, I believe in the humanity of us all. I believe in brotherhood of mankind in general, regardless of where it is found. I don't believe in race. I don't believe in color. So, and that's the kind of orientation. So, that I'm advocating wherever I go. That's the kind of message I preach wherever I turn. That people, they should rise above all these primordial, base, petty sentiment, and rise up for the development, for the growth, for peace, unity of our nation, for the, to better our motherland. That should be our preoccupation. That should be our priority, not what we further polarize or segregate or disunite us. So the issue of religion, whether in the southeast or the southwest, it should be downplayed. It should rank so low. We have some other higher issues, bigger issues confronting the nation, rather than to dissipate our energy, our effort on issues as base, as I call them base, as a petty, as minor, as a religion.
I think I must say, Rabi, thank you for your time. This is a good place to let it go.
It's a delight to be on the program.
Thank you very much.
I feel so appreciated.
I
feel so respected.
And I'm Mr. Patu. We hope to have you next time.
All right. It's going to be a delight to be around some other time too. And to return sanity, to inject sanity in the politics.
Because what we are saying is that by so doing, by this act of Mr. President, that the rule of law is now a meritorious, that they have no force of the law. But beyond that, let me take you to what is happening in Kogi State.
Kogi?
And as we speak today, the Attorney General have asked the Senate leadership to resign. Talking about the issue involving Senator Natasha Agoti, who is facing recall. And as we speak, I have come back to say that those that submitted petition against her did not meet their own criteria, because according to them, phone numbers and addresses of those who signed it.
That of Natasha is better forgotten than discussed. They are playing to the gallery. Those attempting to recall. And never in the annals of this country has anybody been successfully recalled. They thought with the idea of recalling Dino Melaye 9 years ago, it failed. It was a woeful failure. And just like the case of Melaye, like Natasha, that of Natasha too will hit the rock. It will not stay true. They will not make it. I don't see them getting the required figure, the required number to get him recalled. In any case, it is not in bad faith. Why would you want to recall him? That's nothing but political vindictiveness, political perfidy. Right? By trying to recall him simply because she's hearing her views, simply because she's expressing her views. And we need characters like that in the polity to maintain a kind of check and balance in the system. We need more of Natasha in the system.
They claim to have gotten up to 50% signatories of registered voters in her constituency.
How feasible are those signatures?
They claim.
And, that's yes.
That INEC say, as part of our process, if you submit petition, the only now on us to go and verify the veracity of your claim in terms of the signatories,
the allocation,
and INEC is now saying that the addresses and the signatures are not attached.
They were made or they were fabricated.
That is what it looks like.
And of course, that's where politicians, they can go all way. They can go the extra mile to do and undo. Especially when it's a case of when you have made up your mind to hang your dog, any rope will do. So that's exactly what they are doing.
Let me bring this angle because there's a trending video where you can clearly see about 2 or 3 persons sat in a room signing for everybody.
No, sir. That's exactly what I talk about.
Maybe they want to rig the
process. When were those days?
Maybe they want to rig the process.
It will not work. Those days of 2-3 people, printing ballot papers and stuffing it, registering 46,000 people, and the entire 46,000 people will vote in one particular local government. When were those days in Nigeria? Our democracy is evolving. It's growing. We are getting there gradually. Those days of 2 or 3 people sitting, trying to collect signatures to nail people. When were those days? It will not see the light of the day. It will collapse like a pack of badly arranged poker cards. I don't see Natasha going anywhere. The worst case scenario, the worst they can do to him is what has been done already, suspending him in the Senate. But as for the recall proper, forget it. It will not see the light of the day. It is not in bad faith, and I don't see any reason why they would want to do. I don't know what they even be tend to gain by so doing. For crying out loud, he has just 2 years or thereabout, 2 years more to spend in that office. Why now allow the gentlewoman to spend the remaining 2 years bettering our democracy, hearing our views, expressing our opinion, and as long as he doesn't violate the right and the civil rights of others.
Okay, now, lastly, let me take you to the angle of the man Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay, lastly.
We had a situation where the Court of Appeal ruled that Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinary rendition for Kenya to Nigeria, and so he will be released unconditionally. Consequent upon that, we are seeing UN working group on arbitrary detention, asking federal government to release the man unconditionally. Federal government decided to appeal that case. At the point, the case was reassigned to another judge. Currently, we have Judge Omotosho who is handling it. We have seen several efforts to seek political solutions to Nnamdi Kanu's travail. We have seen the lives of Senator Enara Baribe leading his colleagues from the southern part of the country, meeting with the Nigerian Federation. We have seen so many interventions from minority caucus in the House of Rep, calling on Mr. President to release the man. All seem to have gotten a headway. What is your position about the release of Nnamdi Kanu, either politically or through the law court?
I've always advocated for the latter. That's the political solution. So I've always advocated that for us to make headway in this Nnamdi Kanu case, the best way out is for us to apply a political solution in such a way that the eggers around Mr. President and the leaders of thought from the southeast and people in the inner cabinet of Mr. President will come together in a round table. They will give you some terms and conditions so that to ensure peace and stability, especially when it's eventually released. So I don't see. We have tried the law court. It's been legal gymnastics, legal acrobatics these last 10 years, and we seem to be making no headway. We seem to be making no progress. So having failed in that regard, I think the only alternative left to us now is to apply some sort of political solution. So it is not new. It is not a strange idea in the politics. I recall even in the days of the military, when our social crusaders, the likes of Dr. Bekor Ransome, the likes of the late Shiganfayemi, and the rest of them, when they were advocating, then when they were involved in social re-engineering, when they were all over the street, campaigning for the restoration of democracy, for the validation of actualization of June 12 and what have you. So on several occasions, they were released on compassionate ground. That some were released on health grants, some were released to go and meant to family affairs. To
let me bring this angle.
So the same can be applied in the case of
Permit me to bring this angle. Someone like Professor Woloshenka has consistently maintained that Biafra is an ideology. That you can only defeat it through the ideological point of view. Because we have a situation where Nnamdi Kanu is arrested. Before he knew it, Isamonepa sprang up in Finland. Isamonepa is currently detained by Finnish authorities. As we have it, we have someone like Dr. Ngozi Oraboze holding brief for him. Yes. So it looks as if the man, Professor Woloshenka, is right that Biafra is an ideology, cannot defeat it through the battle of ground.
Definitely. It's much more than Nnamdi Kanu himself. Don't forget Biafra predated Nnamdi Kanu. Don't forget like 10-15 years ago, we have this gentleman in the saddle, Nwazuruke, Masop. And it's call it any other name, it's just a change in semantics. It's just a function of syntax. So it's still the same philosophy, the same ideology,
the same goal,
the same aims and aspiration. So it's geared towards achieving the same thing. So the sovereignty of the people of the eastern part of the country. So it goes beyond. It started right from the days of Ojukwu, 67, preceding the civil war. So we should look beyond the gentleman there. So it's even easy for us to kill the messenger. But what happens to the message?
So the message is sustained.
And the message will be sustained if at all you succeed in silencing the messenger. So it's not about the messenger, it is about the message. That's the point being made.
Let me bring this
we should look beyond all that and ensure that the factors factors, the background factors responsible for all these keys in the system should be properly looked into and addressed, rather than the present characters in the vanguard. So it goes beyond the characters in the forefront today.
Okay, let me bring this angle. Because currently we have a situation where there is a UN charter that talks about self-determination. Yes. Nigerian government is already a signatory to it. So by that singular act, by that singular act, self-determination is a law in Nigerian legal jurisprudence. So to that extent, if I should rise today and say I want my own sovereign state in my own jurisdiction, as long as I'm doing within the ambits of the law through self-determination, I don't have offended any known law, whether locally or internationally.
My brother, let's not be mischievous. I know where you are going.
Now the question.
I know where you are going.
Allow me to ask questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Now the question.
Go ahead and do.
Should the government go ahead to amend the constitution to remove self-determination from our law, to pave way, to brute force, to suppress those who come through self-determination?
Originally, you said the UN Charter. Now you are talking about our law. Let's not contradict ourselves. You and I know quite well that the UN Charter on self-determination is at variance with the Nigerian Constitution as handed over to us in 1914 by the Lugadis movement, the Lord Lugard administration, as consolidated in the 1999 Constitution. That wherever we operate a federal system of government like we have in Nigeria, any attempt to secede by any part of it will be met with force. And no secession, no mention of secession is allowed. So it is clearly enshrined in our constitution. It is at variance with that UN Charter, and the problem now arises as to how do we harmonize, how do we reconcile what we have in the UN Charter with what you have in the Nigerian Constitution.
Maybe I should bring this to your knowledge.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Recently, we had a situation where about 19 state governors, through their respective attorney generals, approached Supreme Court, asking Supreme Court to invalidate the effect of EFCC, ICPC, and Financial Intelligence Unit because they were creation of UN Charter that were ratified in Nigeria. But in the wisdom of the Supreme Court, they heard that hence it has been ratified in Nigeria, that state governments cannot claim that it's not binding on them, that it is binding on them. In the same way, we are talking about a UN Charter that has been ratified in Nigeria. So do we now begin to choose and pick which ratification of UN which will apply because it do not favor federal government?
Exactly what I'm saying. You are merely trying to buttress and get me vindicated with what you just said. You see our politicians, they can be so clever, they can be so corny and mischievous at times in such a way that in certain sections of the law, the one that suits their whims and caprices at any point in time, that's what they go with, that's what they choose. So at a time when they find it convenient to go with the UN Charter, and you see them claiming, quoting the UN Charter conveniently. While at the other time, you see them pontificating, sermonizing us about the sanctity of the Nigerian Constitution whenever it favors them to do so. And that's exactly what is happening in this particular case. So when they find it suitable, they find it, they deem it suitable to quote the Nigerian Constitution, they go with it. On the other hand, when they find it difficult, when they think it will galvanize their interest, it will promote their aims and agenda, they go with the UN Charter. That's exactly what they are doing here now. So the truth of the matter remains that some sections of the UN Charter is at variance with some provisions of the Nigerian Constitution, and that's why we have the dilemma. So, and where do we go from there? So we continue to judge rather than war.
Now, lastly,